Defendant lobby number 1. Why, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. Sorry. I just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. In any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. Believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. Claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donham, correct? That is correct. Wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth, yes? You're a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed, don't worry. I made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. Right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once, Mr. Edgeworth. I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave your defense, my defense in your capable hands. Law. Blah 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 blah
Blah, blah,
blah
blah.
blah 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 blah. Is that working? King size one might cost a little more.
Way to...
Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. Not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It seems this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant...
Oh, it's...
Knew it was Francesca.
Francesca.
Prosecution stands ready. And you are... Franziska
Oh, it is Francisca.
Von Karma, prosecuting prodigy.
Sorry. That was Francesca.
Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to legendary prosecutor Manfred Von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a Von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before, or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you're imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? No such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure once before... Ah! I told you there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip. I have no objection to the whip. Don't? Prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expected to face Phoenix Wright here today, but looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ah! Stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case, with as little whipping as possible. Murder victim is the famed picture book author Miss Elise Donham. Body was found in the Hazakura...
Just the sword.
Body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. Sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. Court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There's no mistake. This is the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. So it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. Gonna state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Hey. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ah! Courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. Want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. Okay. Wah ha 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 ha. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Probably do this. Excuse me. That's... Okay. Oh, jeez. Not charging your phone, are you?
Mm-mm.
Oh, but I do have this. That should work. I feel like that's gonna be falling all night. There we are. Alright. Let's hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements at night, eh? At night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to the Hazakura Temple. No bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So a simply coincidence you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. Sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. You're about to fall at the first hurdle. Now, you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Something real quick. Display. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, 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 don't we? Don't worry, I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. Discrepancy between your testimony and that of defendant Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No. She said that? Defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? Defendant is simply lying to cover her back. That is completely illogical. The murder was committed on the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Ah! All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, we must call your memory into question. Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. It's naive to think that alone would do the trick.
Sorry.
You're fine. Please add your comments about a boot, Iris, to the testimony.
A boot.
And let us return to the cross-examination.
He's Canadian, eh?
I believe so, eh? Well, he keeps saying A and a boot.
A boot.
Didn't you see the A?
Yeah.
Present... What?
Part of me kind of wants a brownie.
Go get one. I'll go get one. I'll be back.
Please.
Ugh.
Some milk.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just trying to... Sorry. Thank you, dear. Appreciate it. Huh? What?
Yes, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wahaha, wahaha, haha. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? Question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. Well, that's a lot of milk crates. It's not a bad feeling at all exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order in the court. Witness, your response? Yeah! Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile, a surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. And this is quite strange. Wah! There's a surplus of hoods, and she could have worn one of those. There's no contradiction here. Sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. Seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are now sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise. Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. Stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Impressive logic, that's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing, Miss Von Karma. Would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. Ah! That's right. It says after death right here. Scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. The defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard. How did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Turn that off. Order. Victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room, don't you agree? That's a logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. She was then thrown out of her window down in the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Europe has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. when it produces the most blood? Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. Weapon's still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. Weapon's still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We've come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all the contradictions. Order. I must admit this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. He locates and takes control of every vital point. Seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. Weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I'll give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. Alright. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? When I awoke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility in Franziska Von Karma, and I'm here to teach you just that. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right, some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. The defendant was arrested. She was meditating in her room. Her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? Seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press the point further? Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? It wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. No. Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. There are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? The scene that the witness claims to have seen. The weapon was thrust up to its hilt in the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
Sword's only got blood on it, like...
Yeah, it's the only tip. Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I, too, may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, so should I choose... So choose. Sorry, words. Objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was truly stabbed in the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. It's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shishido. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. Not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. Still got more? This one is simple. If this sword was really thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Ah. This witness is telling the truth, and there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order. Ah! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence? All the other attorneys I know could manage maybe one, if that. What does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. That is, weapon used to kill the victim, not the shishido. What? Foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, because Miss Nagami was holding it. Exactly. However, you reflect on this, what is the only basis we have to assume such a thing? The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shishido was a murder weapon.
He got his head on the wall.
Yeah. Order, wow! Maybe the shishido was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. Sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? That is so. I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us to if a sword-like object was found? That's answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? Murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. What? Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Possible. What else could this old woman have seen? Saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. Takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon in the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Wait, there were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. Got it. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. Tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did you really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. That doesn't jive, unfortunately. I missed this photograph proves something. Proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. Finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, If what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Right, because it was snowing. Because snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. Ah! You're right. You're forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. Tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped. Yeah, but it would have been after 11 p.m., so the snow had stopped by that point. Leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? There's a contradiction. Tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Do you care to explain? Why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. Evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. There we are. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. This is a weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Yeah! Order. Very well then. Looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Ah! Too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? No. You got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. Come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Master Edgeworth. Where's your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? The crime photo. Yep. No snow on her. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow. With just one exception. That is, the victim herself, Miss Elise Donham. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. Yeah. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be two sets of tracks. Order. Just what are you... What are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I am not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. And when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remain. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. He was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used a snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. Snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right, but what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. Snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too. But that isn't possible. Order in the court. What does all this mean? Well, then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. That was the case. Not helping, is it? If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. Never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. Told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. Witness, huh? Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
Very.
Unless they had something really important to do. Shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder, and the second being, the individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about?
About.
Larry Butts.
About. Only 25?
Huh?
They're only 25? Or does it say 35? Stage.
25. What?
How old is Phoenix?
6?
Oh.
That must be a product of Jean-Luc de Leduc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donham. Her student? Interesting. Why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? That's... I know. I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. No choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. May have escaped me yesterday, but Today I'm gonna get everything out of you. She's perfectly fine in that bed. She's just...
Jerk.
Court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Excuse me, Mr. Edworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? Last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well, the second thing then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edworth.
Ugh.
Iris, I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Maya. Still don't know where she's at.
That's true.
Her? Safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. I thought, no psycholocks. Very well. My job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where's the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? You're a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that... Ah! Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Maurice Donham, I hope you're ready. Get in here. Seeing that whip is going to see plenty more use today.
That damn whip.
Sketches in contempt of this court. Hey, that's just an artistically recording. Ouch! You tried to run away from a bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, Viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? Presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. Kinda sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. Just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial, at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Or to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Stop your pathetic blabbing and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now. This is too much for me. I was at the lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I, Edgy? useless. Witness, please refrain from talking directly to lawyers during your testimony.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie's.
Look at me! I'm on a
Fucking
motherfucking
dinosaur! I love that.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that, but hey, it works. Why it did do that?
Problem capitalized.
No.
What is that from?
It's The Last of Us.
Oh.
It's when she's screwing around.
Oh.
And the second one.
I haven't seen that one.
I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else?
Just like I haven't seen the most recent God of War.
Yeah.
So the first one with the kid, but not the second one. There's only been one more, right?
The second one has a kid, too.
There's only been two with the son.
Yeah.
Boy.
Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. Boy. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself. No.
No.
Man. Just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy.
Jesus.
Well then.
Oh, Larry.
Let us proceed with the cross-examination with no touching, thank you. We can delve
His
into
mother would be proud.
delve into other details at a later time. Nice.
Yay!
Nice. Yeah, I stopped just after like what, midnight? 12:43. Yeah, 12:43 was when I stopped. Then I got back up and ate some stuff to try to sober up a bit. Oh, yeah, it was getting good last night too, but I was a little too drunk. I wasn't succeeding in anything myself.
He's gonna play some more tomorrow.
Yeah. Your butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic and you cause all sorts of trouble. Sorry. But having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been. Ah, gotcha.
For what? Like... It's cool for what?
That could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. Wow. Totally pinning this on me. Now then, let's talk about the night of the murder. They're not wind skewers. Mr. Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There he happened across a certain nefarious individual. Well, they could have been wind skewers. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. Doesn't matter if you change your name. As long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self, but for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? Went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. Looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. Certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me. It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. Totally burnt out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry, it's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. Never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. Said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell and then the bridge caught on fire, maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is the small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. Guess about a 5-minute walk? And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during the school camping trips can compare. Well, I should press him. Should I press him for a little more info? Did you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone. Public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. No. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. Your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. Say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge. Meaning you probably got there at around 11. That all sounds about right, I guess. Then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hazakura Temple. No problem, we'll be here. For a while. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There's no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Ah, excuse me. I have an objection. You? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurice Donham. Yeah! Has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11. Sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at the ski bridge at 11 p.m.
Well, he's...
Huh? What?
He's saying he saw Phoenix.
Ooh.
Larry.
Yeah, he's saying he saw Larry at 11.
Larry's saying he saw Phoenix at 11.
Yeah.
At the bridge.
Yeah. Right when the murder's occurring. Why not?
Okay, Larry.
It's clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15. Which means, what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11, but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? Burke, I feel like I just got brutally woken up by his toilet splashback. Guess I was still sleeping after all. Ha ha ha, pinch me.
Uh-huh.
Order, order, order. Is that you scratching? Yeah. There was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. Hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes and there is a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness, why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn? Therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we are talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy. I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. They really... Say it! Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this, however. Let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? I'm a donum. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching. In front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. Sorry. Suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch. Including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You regret this, Edgy? Sketching? The burning bridge? Burning bridge and everything that came with it. What? Came with it? Want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You regret this. Ah! Enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. It does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Sketch? Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please. Well, well, even I couldn't have imagined it turned out like this. Imagine what? Laurice Donham's debut would take place here today, like this. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Show it, now. Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Laurice Donham. Well. So this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry? What? Burning bridge is fine. But what is that unfortunate-looking figure? Ah, you spotted that? I thought you might. However much I want to ignore it, I can't. Iris, of course. Iris. Wish she'd take better care of herself. We have to plan for her future, you know? What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant? Flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist.
Oh, Lord.
The girl, she's really high up in this picture.
What's up, dude?
Wow, what was that for? This is all a bad dream. Seriously?
Bye.
Bye.
I need to go out, too.
Yeah, he's fine. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, the court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It's really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What, me? Witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let's get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. It's like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think of my debut piece? Get the thing away from me. Now hurry up and cross-examine him. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. That truly is the case. Then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? The person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. Ah! Foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. Wah! There are bigger fools in this world than the one on at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She'd given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick?
Oh, Lord.
Why, you Nick! You dog! I do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage. Ha! Ah! What is it now, witness? Feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outbursts, witness? Hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive? Evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Laurie Stoneham, shall prove it. Didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in the sketch. It shows your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time, trust me. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. Donum did. Crystal sphere? This one. It's even got blood on it. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That sphere. Where did you find it? You see, around here somewhere? Looks about right. It's half buried in the snow. Pretty much stopped snowing by then. There was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. Ford accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. Something on it. Oh my, it's blood. What? Blood? Ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Did you want to be called Larice Donum only a few minutes ago? Larry, that night, there was someone. Someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donum, a mentor to a stupid idiot. Victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch! Crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. Ah, crystal sphere, it's gone. What? 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 Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donum. Fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. Can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes. This crystal sphere, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it was well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donum was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, the sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. It's Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe that this has nothing to do with this case? That crystal sphere was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There's blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? Naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. Killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No way. All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. No evidence that Elise Donum left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Response, Mr. Edgeworth? I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it. That's the only option. That's what he'd do. The way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. It should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edworth. Evidence that proves the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Crystal sphere was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? The crystal sphere was dropped. It was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. Proven earlier, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could have that been? The sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. Murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. So who is the fool, and which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edworth? Sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true now, is it? But more precisely, what she saw was murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. We're forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edworth. At least Dunham's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest that someone carried the body all that way? Made it this far, the only place to take this is to the end. You just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us a method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple. That snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. A snowmobile. Ah! As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It is explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body.
This be true.
Order. Yeah! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put a final nail in your coffin? Heh. You're too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim Elise Donham really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, what does this image mean? You even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. Witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. Drew this, so it is actually something that actually happened. Defense stands firm on this point. Edgy, thank you. That settles it then. Cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Grrr. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It's just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There's one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to Wright. Really? What this is all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had to... Ow! Miles Edgeworth, I don't care what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. Shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame. Anzi, this is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. Ow, 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 ow. I demand satisfaction. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the question it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Court is now adjourned. Save it. There's...
No, right.
You are not alright. You are in pain.
I just feel I want to keep going.
Go to the bathroom or something?
Might not be a bad idea.
Take them out. I'll be back. What?
Here. Here.
Want to go out?
What?
Okay. We are not going to continue. We are going to call it a night here. Her bag's acting up. And I've got a headache, so... So, we're just gonna go up.
Oh.
Alrighty. Saving, and then we're going back to the title screen. Alright. So anyway, yeah, we're just gonna call it a night. You all have a good one. We'll get back to this hopefully next Sunday.
It will be probably hopefully Tuesday. Too.
That's it. Well, that's it. We can play. Playing Cyberpunk.
And you're playing Cyberpunk tomorrow.
Yeah. Alrighty. But yeah. We'll catch you all on the flip.
Alright, have a good night, guys.
Have a good one. Sorry for the short
Bye.
stream, but yep. Anyways, bye-bye.